Big volume in NIO. Good morning, everybody. Almost 140 million shares been traded in NIO yesterday, so there's big interest in NIO currently. There's lots of rumors around possible partnerships. I mean, it's all covered here on the channel. So let's have a discussion where I think NIO stock could go, and let's keep this as a theoretical example. This is nowhere near investment advice. This is just where it could go. I will discuss the arguments of those negative on the stock, the bears, and also the positive, the bulls, which are now back in town. So let's have a look at the chart here. I mentioned last time that actually this, like the red arrows here, would be where the shorts would try to double down on their position or start a new short position, because this would actually be a big resistance. Now we had the big news yesterday, and this means we actually broke through this resistance, and pre-market is also looking not that bad. So fair to say that NIO is currently out of the woods in this regard. So the question is, how high could it theoretically go? Therefore, let's have a look at some valuation metrics here. So what you can see in this chart is the ratio of enterprise value compared to the sales, which is currently at a 3.2x. And as I pointed out in videos earlier this year, NIO once traded around a 2x on this valuation metric here when they were almost going bankrupt. And as you can see here, when we look at this chart, NIO has actually traded for most of this year now considerably lower on this valuation metric than actually when NIO faced almost real bankruptcy, mainly due to the fact that the bears had a very good case recently. NIO was not growing anymore. You heard all these narratives out there which were about where NIO is spending its cash, the investment in battery swap stations, how NIO is losing lots of money quarterly. And those who were negative on the NIO stock had very good arguments here with all of the problems around sales and the increased cost, and NIO struggles to transition from platform 1.0 to 2.0. And that's where we heard all of the price targets around $5, $3, and so on. Now here in the channel, I always try to think more in scenarios and give different kinds of probabilities. And what has been clear is that now with the recent sales, the narrative has clearly shifted from negative growth more towards a growth story again. So the question is now, what could be the prospects of this bull narrative? And the bulls are back in control. They're saying, look, the company is growing. We should look at price to sales multiples, and the costs are just a way of capturing growth for the future, right? So don't mind about the cost. Now it's all about growth and the potential of this company for the future. And if we look at this chart where NIO has been historically been trading, we can see that it's actually kind of in the middle here. That's kind of the average at a 5x enterprise value to sales. We're currently at 3.2. So that means theoretically we could have a multiple expansion by another 50%. And then NIO would kind of be valued at what it's been averaging at in the past. And oftentimes, as the market is overshooting to the downside, it can as well overshoot to the upside. So what if it's reaching a rather high valuation at this price to sales valuation metric? It could easily go up another 85% in this enterprise to sales valuation metric. So that would theoretically add another 20 billion in market cap actually. So it's quite staggering to think about this. And actually also, if you're looking here at the chart, the RSI is quite overbought if you just look at this technical analysis here, but this can stay a while like this, right? We've also been oversold for a very, very long time. So there's argument that one should be rather cautious now, because this rally is already quite considerable. However, as I've just shown with those historical valuation metrics, we're nowhere near to where we have been in the past on an average. And that's not even speaking at all about these high times during the COVID lockdowns and, when we all had the free money in the market. And so this rally could extend another 50% if we just add the normal valuation, or 80% if we get a little bit more of hype and NIO stays like really highly traded and so on. So that would bring us even in the mid-20s there. And in my scenario cases, that would be around the 200,000 deliveries as a target to have like some sort of a fundamental backing for it, and definitely this sort of a multiple expansion that I've just talked about. Now, what would need to happen for this? I think it's not only on NIO, to be honest. First of all, the markets would need to stay bullish stocks, and in particular for growth names, for growth companies, for risk assets. We would need a start of an overperformance of Chinese equities versus US equities. As you can see, US equities are by far outperforming Chinese names currently. So this is not somewhere near that what we would need to have. But of course, you could make the case that, of course, now Chinese names are getting back in traction. So I would say the likelihood of NIO still continuing this rally and possibly reaching those historical multiples depends largely on factors that are out of hand of NIO, rather on the markets and Chinese assets in general. That could happen, but you can only plan with a certain probability, and that's of course not at 100. But I hope this video could have shown you with more clarity why in the recent past those negative on NIO stock had the upper hand and the better arguments, and why now the bulls are back in town, and what's the potential bull case here from NIO at the current stage. I hope you enjoyed that. If so, please smash a like, share this video, and see you in my next video.